I was looking at it and I thought, wow, you just have to see it to believe it. So stay tuned because you're going to be totally amazed with how cool this is. So welcome everyone. And where is everyone from, Lindsay? Let us know.
Real quick, the chat apparently is not working.
Okay.
Yay. So I'm going to be answering on my phone. So bear with me.
She's doing the thumb thing, you know how, but she's really good at that.
So if I don't see you, I'll play with the chat, but it looks like it's not coming up for some. I hate when this happens.
It seems like there's always something that we have to deal with, but at least we can connect and you can see what we're doing today. And again, you're going to be totally amazed because this is probably the most fun project I've painted for a while, and probably the one I was most impressed with, not only because it came out really, really nice, but it was so super easy to create. And that's kind of my theme this year. Keep it simple. I think we're all ready to do things that are very impressive, but does not entail a lot of hours of work. And I painted a sample to kind of get an idea, because I hate just trying to do it first time and try to figure out all the techniques and whatnot. So I played around with it probably, what is today, Tuesday? Sunday night, I played around with it. It took about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. So today we're just going to kind of go through this quickly, but you'll see how simple it is. And again, you're going to be amazed because this is really fun. Okay, Lindsay.
All right. So,
we're kind of silent here this morning.
Yeah, because of the technical issues. Okay, so I'm going through my phone. Hello, thank you for joining us, Marlene.
Hi, Marlene.
Hello, Jen.
Hi, Jen.
And Stacy. And we have Bonnie from Oklahoma City on a beautiful day. Yeah, it's turning out to be beautiful here, supposedly.
Oh my gosh, I think last week we were freezing to death. And since then we've seen temperatures up in maybe the lower 50s.
Yeah. It's almost short weather.
It's like a little bit of hope.
And again, if you're joining us on YouTube, our chat is not working on the streaming software for some reason, so I can only see messages on the Facebook through my phone. So I do apologize. We'll be sure if you have any questions, we will go back after the stream and answer them on YouTube. But if you are joining us on Facebook, please let us know where you're joining us from. We'd love to see where everyone's from. I see that Virginia Mann is watching.
Hi, hello, Virginia.
Hello, Sharian.
Sharian. Oh, Sharian. Okay.
If I butchered that, I'm sorry.
That's a pretty name.
Sharian. Yeah, that is. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera.
Okay. So this is the project that Lindsay came up with for me to paint. And it's just really amazing. So I'm not sure how to kind of approach this, but there's little separate circles for the center of the daisies. And this, okay, do we have a drum roll that we can throw in here? This is the butterfly. Check this out, you guys. Is that not the coolest thing ever? Does that dimension show up well, Lindsay?
Yeah, it does.
So they slip together. Super easy. You paint them apart, which is like the best part, and then just slip them together, and they can be attached. Also, they can be used like for magnets, and I mean, my mind is spinning with all the different ways that you could use these little dimensional. I've not seen dimensional little butterflies like this before. So yeah, isn't that super cool? So I wanted to do something really dramatic, I think is the word with this. Spring is coming. We're all anxious. If you're dealing with the snow, you know what I mean. Our snow is slowly melting away. I think maybe we see more grass now than snow, but our snow piles are still pretty high. We had a tremendous amount of snow. I'm going to stick that over there. So I went ahead and I created 2 of the flowers just to get a jump start on it. And I painted above the lid with lamp black. And what I did, I took the piece and I shifted it up just a little bit. And then I drew a line with my white chalk pencil. And that way I knew where I should put my black top. And I just took lamp black paint and painted that. I wanted to do something dramatic with this background. I did seal the piece before I began with multi-purpose sealer, gave it a quick sand. And what that does, not only does it seal the piece, but after you sand it, it makes it silky smooth. It's so much easier for the paint to just glide on. It's more gentle to your brushes. So if you love your brushes and invest in your brushes, you want to make sure that you do care for them well. I am using Amaz-Mint. When did this come out, Lindsay?
I think that's a 2025 color, if I'm correct. Yeah.
It hasn't been out too terrible long. Gosh, these colors they almost glow. They're just beautiful.
While you're pouring your paint out. Eileen asked, are the butterflies available separate so we can add them to other projects? Why, yes, they are. And I finally got it to show up on the website because, believe it or not, I listed them both the same day and the butterflies weren't cooperating. But I did put the link for both the hanger and the butterflies in the chat on Facebook. And then again, YouTube people, if you're joining us after the chat's not working, so we will make sure those links are in there for you. But they are available as a set of 3, $249. You get 3 of them, and they're really cool. You could use them for almost anything.
There's 2 big ones and one a little bit smaller. Yeah. So, okay. I wasn't going to say anything, but also in my mind, you could put a magnet on them and stick them on a refrigerator. They're really very sturdy after they're secured together. Amaz-Mint, Dragon Teal, and Love Potion. And I've used this combination before, and it's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I'm using my 3/4 inch oval wash. And, okay, guys, this is keep it simple. Don't overthink this. And I'm just going to do it rather quickly. So if you're not a fast painter, kind of let your hair down. I don't want this to dry up. I'm going to paint the whole background before it starts to tack up. So I'm going to fly. I'm using a kind of a slip slap, and it's not the chisel edge, it's the flat of the brush. So if you can do like an X, that's all that I'm doing. Getting just a hint of water on my brush. I'm loading that Amaz-Mint in there. Okay, and I'm just doing this. So I think I'm going to need a lot more paint. When I'm coming out, I kind of lift up so I don't have any hard edges. I'm going to squirt out a good amount here. And I'm just adding, start in the middle and feather it out toward the edges. I want that center area to be very bright. And I will do 2 coats. I was going to do this ahead of time. No, you got to see this. Get a little water. I'm going into that, I have to look, Dragon Teal. And I'm just picking that up and blending that together. Don't overthink it.
Eileen said, those butterflies are so fun. Wouldn't they make a great pin also?
Ooh,
they would, yes.
Never thought about a pin, but absolutely. A little more water, just slap that in there. I do have a lot of paint on my brush. And if you saw that big splotch, that's a lot of water. And I just went from one to the other. I'm going to go into that Love Potion. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous, you guys.
Every time you say that, I think of that song, Love Potion
number 9. Love Potion number 9.
Yeah.
I would sing, but you wouldn't probably click off. Lindsay sings all the time, so I'll
not well. Just ask Jen. I guarantee you, she doesn't miss that.
They always had when they were pulling orders, they would always have a duet going on.
And there would be times that Papa John would howl. That's how bad it was. So that tells you how good of singers we were.
Okay, can you see how it just blends, shifting one color into the next? Now, I did not clean my brush. I went from light to the Dragon Teal to the Love Potion. And now I'm just cleaning my brush with water. I have a light touch. Just gonna soften. I don't want to pull that purple up into the center, but I want to soften those edges. I don't know if I need a second coat or not. We'll let that dry and then give it another. I see a lot of, around the outer edge, a lot of thinness. So I'm going to give that a quick dry. How long did that take, Lindsay? 2 minutes?
Well, I wasn't looking for a clock, but we're only in 12 minutes in the video, so
Yeah.
It didn't take long at all.
And this is a little bit thin in the background. So I'm going to let this dry and just do pop another thin coat over top. Now, one thing you need to be really careful of, this layer has to be dry before you add a next layer on. I have a little thing right there. If the paint is still dampish, you're going to lift it up and it's just going to look pretty awful. I'm trying to rub that off so that I don't have that little bump there. I think I might just grab a little bit of sandpaper and hit that real lightly. Do you like the way that shifts? And this is a little bit, a lot of brush strokes show, but when I add my second layer, sorry, Jen, I'm using sandpaper. When I add that second layer, it'll blend beautifully. I'm not going to worry about that little dot because I'll show you here in a minute. We'll make that disappear. So I have these colors on here. I'm just going to repeat the same thing. However, I'm going to use a little more moisture in my brush so that it's more of a wash than a heavy layer of paint. Can you see how soupy that is? And I'm just I want a bright area, more middle to the top. And again, this is just a real quick slip slap, more water, get that Dragon Teal, just blend that in right around the outer edge. And you can see how quickly I'm working. Get a little water on the brush, and I'm just going to blend that in quickly, slip slap that around. And I clean my brush a little bit because I want the center area to be bright. Do I want to keep that Dragon Teal completely out? I kind of like the way that's softly blending in. Gives that little bit a look of movement. I just don't want to have any hard lines. Okay, just soften that down. This is such a pretty combination of colors. Adding a little more of that Dragon Teal around the outer edge, mostly so when I put this Love Potion in, I've got something that's going to mix in with it. And you can see how beautiful and blue and strong those colors are. I want to make sure that I don't have any empty space up here when I start to blend or lay that top layer over. And this is such a great background to do with a multitude of colors. Play around. The colors that you don't think would look good can truly surprise you. Okay. And I know I have that border around the edge, so I'm going to let that. I'm not real worried about these outer edges. Kind of clean my brush off so I can blend these together and not pull all of that purple toward the center. Just soften those edges, very light touch, a whisper, shift, shift, shift. How's that look, Lindsay?
Looks good.
Okay, when you get to the point where it looks good, walk away. Okay, stop, Chris. Tell me to stop, Lindsay.
Stop, Chris.
Okay, all right. Where's my splatter brush? I thought it needed a little bit, it's bold in the center. I want to add a little bit of splattering, and I like that deep purple. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that love potion and that dragon teal and kind of mix it together until I get that deep purple. And get a little bit of moisture on my splatter brush. I love the splatter brush. If you do not use this type of splatter brush, you're missing the boat, because this is so easy. My fingers will not get messy. They may get messy when I'm painting, but not when I use the splatter brush. And I've just dipped the tip of it into the paint, got paint on the tip. This part is clean. And I'm going to point it and splatter, but I want to test it first. And I stand up and I just aim it where I want it to go. The thinner the paint, the bigger the splatters. And always test on your palette before you go over here. And I think that just helps to kind of fill it in a little bit. Gorgeous. Okay. We'll let that kind of render a little bit. Now, I did go ahead and paint a couple of the flowers up because I knew it would take a little more time than we wanted to dedicate to. And it's just redundant. I'll paint one up and then it's super easy. You'll see how to do that and we can just move on. This is painted with baby duck. And now I'm going to add a little bit of saffron yellow to this. And this is kind of like the background. Just go kind of easy and smooth. And I think what I may want to do, oops, since I have a ton of color everywhere, I'm just going to clean this up for a moment. Thank you. I should have put paper towels underneath, and then I wouldn't have to worry about this. Not a bad idea to take a minute to kind of clean up your area as you go along. Check those fingers out because I don't want to get blue on the yellow. And we kind of get so involved in what we're doing, we forget about our fingers. All right, saffron yellow. To do these daisies, black-eyed Susans, what are they, Lindsay? Daisies, black-eyed Susans, they're just a pretty,
whatever flower you want.
A pretty yellow flower.
Echinacea.
What is nice about this saffron yellow is it leans a little bit toward the translucent, as many yellows do. So here's the mindset. I'm going to be laying some shading / intense color on these flowers. I want to think watercolor. I'm not going to cover up the baby duck, but it's kind of like my base coat that's going to really ramp that color up. Loading the toe of my 1/2 inch angle, and I have a lot of moisture on it. And can you see I'm just that quickly just adding a little bit on, and I'm doing each petal separately.
I feel like I could do this, honestly.
I mean, do you think it's messy? I don't know. It's not a perfect paint. It's just.
I think that's why I feel like I could do it, because it's not perfect. I don't.
Oh, and it's super easy.
It's just kind of like painting in the lines, you know?
Yeah, it is. And I think that's what's so much fun about these shapes that are already provided, because you don't have to trace them on. And and then go in and shade each petal. Okay, boom, we're finished. All right, that's it. And look what a difference. It almost kind of, it resonates that deep, rich, yellowish color. I'm going to give that a quick dry. And actually, while we're letting that dry, I could be working on this up here. Now I wanted this lit. I wanted to keep my colors minimal. So I'm just going to use black and white. And I wanted this lid to look a little bit like zinc. And I thought, oh, okay, I'll get zinc paint. And I thought, oh, I want to keep it simple, right? Keep it simple. So I'm just going to take this is my number 10 filbert. All right, I'm going to load some white and load some black. And I'm just going to, maybe I should put some paper towel underneath there because I'm going to get it all over. What happens when you double load your brush and don't mix the paint? I'm getting that mix of color.
Kind of looks galvanized almost.
That's what I was looking for. I thought, well, I could go in and paint it one color and then go back and stipple it, but this is a really good way to add that in there. And I'm trying real hard not to let it drip over the side, so I'm kind of working from the middle out. And I'm tapping and pulling and sort of kind of blending those colors. Now, as I get on this skinny part, I'm going to be just a little more light-handed because I don't want to get in that, go down those side edges. I thought it'd be kind of fun to let that little flower petal kind of pop out a bit. And if your brush is too wide, you can, I'm kind of flipping it over instead of the flat. I'm using the side angle, not the flat, the side.
Monica says it's a lovely piece.
Thank you. It is pretty. Thank you, Lindsay. And if you've seen galvanized, this really looks a lot like galvanized. Or zinc or whatever.
And if you don't want to do this technique, you could always use just zinc paint or whatever color you want. Right?
Absolutely. Just base coat it and maybe go in and add a little bit of shading. I thought this was fun. And we'll do a little more to it to dress it up, but. Okay. I don't like that white spot there, so I just kind of tone it down. Any place I don't like, but there's a little bit of movement there. It looks a little bit zinkish, and I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, so now let's go back to this daisy. It is dry now. I want to add a little bit of color. I'm putting monarch butterflies on here. So I need to bring that orangey tone in, and I am using Warm Sunset. And it's the same concept. I'm going to take my 1/2 inch angle. What's our theme? Keep it simple. So I'm just going to load. Can you see the palette on there, Lindsay?
Yeah.
I'm loading this, and it has a lot of moisture in it. So I can go in and add just a hint of color on these flowers. And if you want to kind of, in your mind, consider one area a little bit more shaded, you can bring that orange up. You can see I'm just letting the brush kind of put that on there. Hey, this is easy, right? Don't overthink it. I'll just allow that brush to do the work. And I think I'm going to go this way a little bit. Am I still on camera, Lindsay?
Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me.
And you can see there's not any strong paint. I just have a hint of color. I go back with the clean part of my brush, kind of move the paint around. I thought it should be a little darker on this side. The lights may be coming from that side. Wherever your highlights are, that means those little flower petals kind of tip up a bit. So you can allow that to be just a little bit brighter. And give that another quick dry. So while that is drying, I am going to do the side edge of the mason jar. And I thought about doing it darker, even maybe like a black, but I wanted this hello to stand out. So I'm going to bump down to my number 8 filbert, and I'm just going to be using Dragon Teal and Amaz-Mint. Okay, so I thought the jar lid turned out really cool, and I thought, well, maybe if I use a combination of these 2 colors down the side, that would be pretty, and it really works. So I'm just gonna, can you see that mix of color on there, Lindsay?
Slightly. I think it'll show up here in a minute.
I'm being rather careful around those daisy petals because I wanted those to protrude past the edge.
You can see it now.
Okay. And I wanted to look very marbled, almost kind of like it has a little bit of a sparkle, glass sparkle to it. And once I get around these petals, and I want to be careful here, so I'm just going to load my liner. This is a number 2 round with that. Just being a little more careful. I should have done that. So there are times when you need to slow down and take heed, and then there are other times when we can just kind of just plop that on there. Add that little, just kind of a tiny bit of variation. I have a light touch. I'm not pushing hot and heavy. I have a lot of paint on my brush. I'm kind of tapping it out. If it's a little bit too light, I can go back and add just a little bit more of the darker color. I'm going to go into the wrong petal here. I just don't want it to go down the side edges. So kind of keep an eye on that. You can always go back and touch those side edges up, but if you can avoid it in the beginning, it's a lot easier. And I am just going to tap this on. As paint dries, it kind of shrinks up. So there may be places that you do have to go back and touch up, but because this is such a mix of paint and textured design, it's super easy. And we'll just pop that on. My little grandson turned 17 this past week. Ugh.
That makes me feel old.
Oh my goodness.
Because he was born, if you remember this, like not too long after I started working here.
I had he's my oldest grandson. I had a real hard time thinking of myself as grandma.
I remember that.
I really did. So we went to a party, and what he wanted for his birthday was what every 17-year-old wants. And what is that? Money. So we had a good party. Just hard to believe.
It doesn't seem possible.
No. I remember when my son was born, I had an older lady told me, she said, oh, before you turn around, he'll be graduating high school. And I thought, oh my gosh, no way. Here I am, a grandma. Now, in between those petals, I do want to keep that background kind of not perfect, but following the edge of the petals. And this is not a perfect piece. This is just a very, what's the word, relaxed piece?
Loosey-goosey.
Yeah. Okay, Lindsay, could you still do this?
I feel like I could.
Yeah.
Am I going to attempt it? No. But I feel like I could do it.
I told her one of these days we're going to get her hands on a
Nope.
brush. And she said, no way.
Nope.
I said, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I could do it. I probably wouldn't be as good with like the double loading. I'd probably do it single color, which I think would be okay.
It would.
But I feel like so far, like I feel like I could even do the flowers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, how simple is that? Just one little wash of color on there and
I could definitely paint the hello black.
yeah. And actually, I didn't bring in my cosmetic. I use that triangle cosmetic sponge. I don't know if we have any here or not.
I keep saying that we need to bring a packet.
Yeah. You get those in the, what department is it? It's not the drugstore or drug.
Makeup section.
Makeup section, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, we have one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little scuzzy, but.
Okay, these are super dense and super flat on the bottom side. So I can tap it into the paint, and it's no different than a brush. You overload it, you're going to have a mess. But I just get a little bit of paint and I lightly tap on there, and it's a great way to do the side edges. If you push too hard, you're going to squish the paint down the side edges. So you just need to remember to have a light, gentle touch. When you start to run out of paint, don't push hard or reload. No different than a brush. Oh, that's pretty. Now watch as I lay this over top of the plaque. Look how it jumps out. Isn't that pretty? It really makes a nice border, and it flows together really, really well. This yellow and purple are opposites on the color wheel. They just really are easy on the eye. A little bit of splattering in the background pulls it all together. Hey, we're almost finished. No.
So on the second slot on the lid, you can see wood underneath. Is it lined up, or is it just needs a little more painting?
It needs more paint in there. Thank you. Okay.
I know you can't see that because you're not looking directly over it.
But you know what? I'm going to do that now.
Okay.
While I've got the black paint out. And I'll just make that. I'll just bring it down even further. And that makes me wonder, I'm going to check this other one too. So, just smooth that out. One thing about when you're painting layered pieces, make sure your paint is smooth. If you have ridges and bumps in your paint, when it dries, you're going to have ridges and bumps. And usually it's not a big deal, but if you're gluing two layers together and you want them to be nice and flat and to really adhere well, those raises and bumps in the paint, and you can see how that would cause the pieces to not lie flat, and it's just not going to stick very well. All right, so I've done the colors on the flower, and I did the baby duck, and then I put a little bit of that western sunset.
Warm sunset.
Warm sunset. They should have asked me when they named that. It should be western sunset. It's beautiful. I thought it would be fun to add a little bit of the Love Potion, but let's brighten those tips up first. I'm just going to grab a little bit of Snow White. I'm afraid I'm going to get that in the paint. Kind of running out of room here.
I'm kind of chuckling over here. I think this is the messiest I've seen. Her hands have paint all over them. It's great. I love it. Her hands look like mine do when I paint.
Okay, so when I was in college, went to college for fine art, and I had a professor that, and I probably said this before, the one thing that he said, and I've carried this with me my entire life, if you're not messy, you're not good. Now, that's a nugget to hang on to for sure. Okay, now the white's going to dry just a little bit less bright and less opaque. But I want to bring some highlights on those tips here and there. Again, don't overthink it. Just, I have a fair amount of moisture on my brush. Just going to add that on there to brighten those up. Am I going to do every single one, every same place? No, I just want to add some brightness on there. And when you look at a flower, not every petal is flat and even and perfectly placed. So allow it to just shift a bit. Now, because I will stick my fingers in there, I'm going to give that a quick dry. And Lindsay's right, I have a ton of paint on my fingers. You know, you get so involved in what you're doing, and I'm just taking some hand sanitizer and kind of, we've got this ginormous bottle.
That's leftover from COVID, I'm pretty sure. Yep.
Does hand sanitizer have an expiration date?
This one does, but
you're kidding.
Yeah, 2022.
Okay.
But for your purpose of what you're using.
Yeah, it works perfect.
Yeah.
All right, my hands are clean. That gives us a little time to dry. Going to add a hint of Love Potion. And by a hint, I mean a hint. I can always go back and add more. So I'm just going, look at this. Ooh, this is what a wow factor.
I never would have dreamed that was that Love Potion in the middle.
I know, it's just absolutely pretty. It's gorgeous. Think watercolor. Let it kind of flow out. There's no sharp edges. It's just a soft hint of color, kind of coaxing it down the petals. Just letting it flow.
Marty says that she loves this piece.
Oh,
it's very cheery and spring-like and vibrant. And I can't think of any other adjectives. But
that really covers it.
Yeah.
And it was funny because when Lindsay said, "Oh, I want you to do this one," I'm going, "Okay," and I really had to think about it for a bit because I wasn't sure.
Well, when I gave it to you, it was gloomy and nasty outside. And that, and I'm like, think spring.
That might have a lot to do with it. Okay, I'm going to let that go for now. Let's go ahead. I want to do the center. And we'll work on the butterfly. We're going to jump back and forth. Give these time to dry. So this is the center of the flower. I painted it with fresh mango. And I'm going to leave that on there because it's in there pretty good. And I'm just going to decide what sides of my highlight, put a little bit of that saffron yellow on that side and a little bit of warm sunset on this side. Boom, it's done. Just a little float there. While I'm at it, I'm going to work on the butterfly and I'm going to get the warm sunset and I want to have a yellow butterfly and I'm just kind of wiggling that paint. I'm thinking about how the wings will, what direction they'll go, and I'm just putting that on. Boom, that's done. You could do that, Lindsay, right?
Yeah, so far.
Okay, we're good. Let's go back here and see what we got going on here. Let that dry. So the jar lid, I wanted to add a little bit of highlight. I think I'll have to stand up. Using my number 4 diverse dry brush, I think you could use any brush. And I don't know why it's wet because I haven't used it yet. But I think I laid a wet brush on it. I want it to be dry. I'm going to pick up just a bit of that Snow White. Wipe a touch of it off. And I know on this jar lid, I just want to have a highlight. And pick up just a little hint more paint. And I know I want it to be a little stronger where the light's going to bounce off of it there in the front. A little bit down here. These are great for adding highlights.
And I know how to do this.
Lindsay would have no trouble with this.
The dry brushing, so I've got that down.
You want to have a few places that are a little bit stronger so that it looks like it is reflecting light. And I'm going to put some here just to make it look a little rounded. You don't need much. And I'll probably go back and reinforce that just a little bit. Actually, I think I will do that with a little brush.
So Hill Country Texas Toller says they love this and the way you did the zinc.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, I couldn't believe how much it looked like zinc.
It looks like old galvanized metal to me.
It truly does.
Like weathered, something that's been weathered and sitting out.
I still have some of Grandma's canning jars, the zinc, and I think those things will last forever. And the green canning mason jars have a little bit of zinc on the lids. Oh, look, that's a good looking lid. And I may go back and reinforce that a little bit more as we pull it all together. I am going to, I think this is dry. I want to make this look like it is just a little bit of a highlight on the outer edge. And I'm loading it. I'm not quite wiping heavy off because I want it to really kind of sparkle a bit. Those corners, I want those to really round out nicely. Just add a little bit. And I just have a light touch because I'm not sure how much is on that brush, but look how it pulls that highlight off. Such a great way to add a little bit of a highlight without, is this still on camera, Liz? Okay. She gets the view, I do not. Okay, I'm going to go this way because my hand's hitting the hello and I can't slide very well. There we go. Just adding. Sometimes I think these simple little touches make such a big difference, and we work so hard we don't need to. We get a brush in our hand and we're thinking, okay, this is all I need. It truly is. It's so much easier to go back and ramp that up as opposed to trying to go back and tone it back down. However, that zinc's pretty easy to do, so we don't have to worry too much about that. Let's go back to this little butterfly and the flower center. And I want to really bring some strength in there. I'm just going to use that love potion to pull some color in there. Look at that butterfly. Isn't that pretty? That is just really pretty. And so far, we really haven't done anything that takes any specific talent or time. It's just a real simple way to add color. I think that's all we're doing is adding color. I love it. Now on these flowers, they just needed one more thing to make them look good. And I'm going to use my eyedena pen. And I'm just going to start. I need to make sure this is super. And I used this last week, I think, for that plaque we did. I think adding an outline is a great way to add interest very easily. And this will not look good until we get that flower center in here. But it's such a fun way to dress those up. You can see I'm kind of trying to decide which flower petals are in front of which flower petals.
So Elsie says, a huge hug from Merida, Venezuela.
Venezuela?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I had to use Google Translate, but
well, hopefully
welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Hopefully Google can understand me because I seem to have an accent. And sometimes Google takes my words and makes them into other words.
Thank you for joining us, Elsie.
Yes, welcome, welcome. If you are struggling with a flower and you want to add a lot of detail, look how this has gone from this to this. What a big difference that is. Am I being really fussy? No, I am not. So I wonder what the weather is in Venezuela.
Probably warmer than here.
I don't know if it ever gets cold down there. Wow, what a difference. Let's go back to these. I'm jumping around, but I'm giving this time to dry. Even though I'm using a marker, you still have to allow time for that to kind of set up, and it has moisture in it to transport the ink, but it needs to dry. So if I go over and try to add more color on it, it's just going to blend that black out. And you know what will happen at that point.
It's in the 80s.
Okay, let's put some.
Yes, Doris is right. It's summer there. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Need to add a little bit of dip dots. If you notice on these flowers, they have some sparkle on there. Using my stylus, and I'm just adding some random dip dots. I did the big end, and then as I get down toward the bottom here, I'm just going to let those get a little bit less in size. Okay, for the butterfly wings, I kept this simple. All right, so on the top part of the butterfly, I'm going to make kind of a big comma stroke. Same thing on the bottom side, big comma stroke.
Elsie, this plaque, or this hanger is made out of MDF, which is a wood composite material, and it is available on our website. So it's a 2-layered piece, and then it also has 3-dimensional butterflies, which we will show again momentarily, but they're all made of MDF.
You want me to show that one? The one I gave you?
Yeah, we can in a minute.
Okay. So I'm just making comma strokes because I want to keep it simple. And I thought last night when I did this, it was ugly, but then when I finished, it was pretty. So I thought, okay, this works. I'm going to take a little bit of baby duck. I want these wings to look a little bit transparent. So I'm taking baby duck and I'm thinning it down. I have my number 3 radical round. Just going to add a little bit of a highlight in the center of each one of those comma strokes. And this will dry just a little bit thinner or less opaque. Perfect. And I'm going to take and highlight some of these dip dots with white, just to make them stand out just a little bit more. Just some of them a little bit brighter. And give this a quick dry. How many of you use a chalk pencil? I think this is a great tool that's not used enough. It's a great tracing tool. It erases easily with just an eraser, but when you varnish over it, it locks it in and it becomes very permanent. I wanted the lettering to have some kind of a design on them, and I thought I would just kind of dry brush white on, but it was too messy. So I thought, well, I wonder what would happen if I just took my chalk pencil and I just created some design and just added a few little highlights. This is a great way to add a little bit of design on your letters easily. If you don't like it, you can go, okay, I didn't like that dot there. So I can erase it and redo it. I mean, come on, guys, that's like super easy. Especially on the E, it just needs to stand out a little bit more.
And of course, if you don't have a chalk pencil, you could do a white Uniball pen. You could use paint and a liner.
White, like a Prismacolor color pencil would work. And I think especially when using these, like the black lettering, this is a great way to brighten that up.
Hill Country Texas Toller says that she hasn't seen the chalk pencil before, but she's getting some for herself and chapter gifts.
Oh, that would be fun. Be sure to share what you do with them. I use these almost every time I paint because they're so workable.
And they come in a 2-pack, which is nice. You know, and you just sharpen them with a pencil sharpener. Susan says, you just amaze me.
Oh, thank you. And I did bring it past. I thought that was kind of fun to add a little bit past that. And you have to agree, this is easier than trying to use a paintbrush. And I think also It's a little less stressful. We all want a little less stressful. I'm going to bring this down just a tad. That way you can see that it's maybe a little bit over here. That really brightens it up, doesn't it? Okay, I don't like that. So I'm going to erase it. If you have a big eraser, it might work better. Oh yeah, that looks much better. Let's go back to this. I'm going to add just a hint of burnt umber on that flower center. I think it needs to be just a tad more strength to it because I don't want it to exactly match the flower.
Cindy Estes says, wait, just scroll, chalk pencil game changer.
Absolutely, I like that game changer. Yeah. And burnt umber has such a warmth to it. It has just really reinforces that depth of color. Okay. I am going to start adding the lines on my butterfly. And I can do this with a liner brush, but I thought, hey, I wonder what if, since I have my Identipen out, if that would work. So I'm just going to outline these little comma strokes. And I'll show you what I'm going to do. This just gets in between. And I always think it looks awful until the end. But how much stuff of what we do looks awful until the end. Slow down when you're doing this because the ink can only run out so fast. If you go faster than the pen can disperse the ink, it's not going to be solid, nice and solid. If your paint is not completely dry, it will not be solid. And I don't think my paint is completely dry. I'm going to be using my, I'll just use this. I've already got it out. And I'm just going to, okay, this is going to take forever. Oh, use a brush that's big enough to really transport that paint without taking a tremendous amount of time. We have bigger brushes to do a bigger job. So I'm bumping up to a number 5. And I'm going to move this because I know I'm going to get paint on it. I stick my pieces on this is an acrylic stamp block because I can hang on to it without getting my fingers too overly messy. And then I can just turn it as I need to turn it. And this is so much easier. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but I misplace stuff. So I can lay this little butterfly wing down and 2 minutes later I can't figure out where I put it because I put it someplace over there to make sure I don't get my fingers in it and mess it up. So if I put it on an acrylic stamp block, I can really keep tabs on it. Just want to smooth that paint out so it's nice and even. Be careful around those edges. So basically what I did with the Identipen, I just used it to outline. And then I can go back and fill that in. And I'm just going to go down. I want this whole little body to be black. Now these pieces fit together pretty snugly. If you ever, when using paint, run into pieces that are supposed to fit together and you've painted them and they no longer fit, you need to maybe take a bit of sandpaper and kind of go in those areas to clean them out because they probably have been filled up with a little bit of thickness of paint and they don't slide as well as they should. So you could do this, Lindsay. She's good at little detail. Okay. I'm going to let this dry a bit. I do need to go in and erase those white tracing lines from the graphite pencil. Need to make sure before I do that the paint is nice and dry and the marker is nice and dry. So while I'm waiting on that, I'm just going to put this little thing back on here. I added that burnt umber, and then I'm just going to go back and add a hint more of that.
Elsie, this is Deco Art paint that Chris is using. Deco Art Americana to be specific.
I thinned it down enough that it kind of works almost like a watercolor. So I'm going to let that dry. And I think that flower center is finished. Keeping my fingers crossed that this is nice and dry. And I'm have a very light rub with my, this is a super soft eraser. They work really well. I'm not going to dig into that paint. I'm not going to smear that marker. I think if I was super aggressive, it might really go into that. Now, on the other piece I did paint the back and the body. I'm going to kind of skip that for right now. I want to get this little butterfly put together. Going in with a little bit of white. This is where you get to decorate the wings. Oh my goodness. We're finger painting today, I think.
Where'd that come from?
I don't have a clue. Oh, and I thought, I've seen butterflies, you know, the blue ones, the yellow ones. There's so many different combinations that you could do. I'm going to start with a big, kind of an oval. And I'll go down with my little end and just start adding the dot. This is where your little butterfly gets so adorable. Big dots, little dots. And then I'm just going to kind of swing those around. I mean, that really sweetens them up. Got a big dot here. Oh, how pretty. And just add some little dots. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to let my dots dry and paint the side edges, but. And if you're not sure about butterfly markings, you know, just Google it because there's so many, you can't go wrong on a butterfly. Okay. Oh, is that pretty? Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. So incredibly sweet. All right, let's go back to this. And I'm going to, let's add, I would use the Aleene's Tacky Glue to glue the top to the back. I've tried hot glue on pieces like this, but the problem is by the time you add hot glue all the way around, it starts to cool down. It's not going to lie flat. Let's put this on here, but I am going to do it for this.
That's hot, Chris.
I know. I'm going to burn myself. Lindsay's like already there with the first aid cream. Okay, that's pretty. However, I want to add just a little more depth to that. I'm just going to go back into that love potion. And right here, It's just a little bit weak. And you can see all of that line work underneath is still very, very visible. And I love that purple Love Potion on the yellow. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Now, I don't want this to be the same all the way around, but I want to make sure I have enough on there that it looks like it's not a half and half flower. Look at that. It really, isn't that beautiful? I mean, it just evolves so easily and so quickly.
Mike Lee's joined us and he says those butterflies could be harbingers of spring hung in the window. I'm so ready.
Oh, no kidding. No kidding.
I actually heard geese today honking.
Oh, did
So
you?
it sounds like they're coming back.
They're heading back home.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to take these little butterflies and just kind of place them.
Well, could you explain their antenna?
Yes, I will do that. Because this is so cute. I was thinking on the antenna that, you know, butterflies have antennas. So I thought they should have little antennas. So I was kind of hoping this would dry a little bit more. All right. This is brown floral wire. And I just took a piece and folded it in half and pinched it together. Because on the back side of this, and I'm glad I didn't paint that so you could see, there's where they slot together. You need to put something in there to make sure that they are secure. So I thought, okay, so while I'm putting glue in there, maybe I could add a little set of antenna. So I'm just going to put this together. All right, so I always burn myself. This is what I use at home. This is a silicone tool. Oh my gosh, I have a terrible time with hot glue, so this really does make a difference. Just going to put that little bead of hot glue right down the valley where they come together. I'm going to lay this piece of floral wire in there. Oh, I don't think I need to. Okay. Instead of pushing my finger in there, I'm going to use that silicone. Let that harden up. I could paint, I can't do that. I was thinking I could paint that while it was hardening up, but okay, we'll let that go back to here. So I was talking to Chris Williams, or she mentioned last week, we were talking about the strings on the hot glue gun. And she said, if you store your glue sticks in the freezer, that will not happen. I have not tried that yet.
Marianne Ebersol asked if the e-pattern comes with the class sign up for Easter fence. And yes, it does. You get the e-pattern will be delivered upon order and confirmation. And then you'll also get the class download after the class.
Looking forward to seeing you, Mary Ann. The class that I'm teaching is...
I've got a graphic. I can
Oh,
put
okay.
that. This is the class that Mary Ann was talking about. It's the Easter fence class. It's March 4th at noon Eastern. The fee is $20. That includes an e-pattern. And then after the class, you also get the download for the video. And then it's roughly a 4-hour class, right, Chris?
Yes.
Yeah, 4-hour class on this new Easter fence hanger, I guess we could call it, kit. Which is also available on our website.
I made these antennae a little bit long, so I'm just going to snip off a little bit.
You know what else you could do to those antennae? You could put beads on them.
Oh, that would be sweet. Yeah.
Like little beads.
I like that little curl on them, so I'm just using my brush to curl them around. Just take your thumb and give it a curl around the brush. I think that adds a lot to have that little bit of intent on there.
And these would make really cute magnets, honestly. They really would.
They would be.
I know.
And like I said, you could do blue, you could do
yellow.
Oh, and I've seen like little rainbow butterflies. And these are on here really good. I'm not going to glue this on there because I do want to go back and paint the back side. And I don't have the front glued to the back yet, so it's sliding around a little bit. This is a great project, you guys. I have to decide where I want this. Probably right about there. Any questions? We're not chatting, are we?
Well, all I can see is Facebook, so.
I just think this is something that is super easy. Keep it simple. Don't let it become a burden or a challenge. And sometimes, a lot of times, I think we just really overthink it. And so make sure you have fun and play around with it.
Cindy, there is not a pattern for this. It's very, what's the word for it?
User-friendly.
User-friendly, yeah. So the video will be available on our YouTube channel after the live. But I will put the link up for the door hanger again. Give me 1 second because the chat's not working, so I have to do everything.
And I can list the colors, and you can add those on there too. So
yeah,
that way you'll have the colors. I was trying to think of a hanger for it, and I thought it would be pretty to have rustic wire and maybe even add some beads on it. We are ready for spring, and this is such a vibrant piece.
So there's the link for the hanger. I just put it in the chat. It's also under our new products section on the website as well.
This is a phenomenal piece. I think it could be done so many different ways. I'm not sure which way I'd do that butterfly, but he's going to go on there. Make sure if you go on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our channel. That way you won't miss out on upcoming videos. I do post quite a bit on there. They will send you a notice when we're going live.
Kim, there isn't a bundle because there's not a pattern. So all of the wood, so the 3 butterflies, the centers, it all comes with the door hanger. So all you need is this, and that's the link in the chat that I just put.
That has everything in it.
Yeah. And
then just follow the video. I'll list the colors. Everything is outlined, so there's no pattern needed.
And again, all of these videos from our lives are on our YouTube channel. Keep in mind that Facebook deletes lives after 30 days. So they're always going to be available on our YouTube channel. And if you ever need the link to them, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to send the links over.
And they're free.
They're free. It's a free YouTube channel. There's hundreds of videos on there now. But we usually have new content at least once a week, if not more. We try to do lives on Tuesdays is when we normally try to do lives.
Unless life gets in the way.
Yes.
Oh, I do have one question.
A question?
Let me know. I was kind of wondering if a little black chenille body would be cute in there.
I mean, I could see it, but would it show up?
I don't know.
Like right now, looking on the camera, I know it wouldn't show up on camera. I can tell you that right now.
And it looks fine without.
I think, yeah.
So I think it would just be another texture to add in there. It might be really interesting. Add a little bit more. Oh. So I will get this painted up. Not sure about the top. I think just wire and a few little beads or maybe a simple bow. I put a couple bows on there that were bigger, and it just, with all of this, it just kind of took away from it. So if you decide to get one painted up, please be sure to share it. We would love to see it.
You can share on the Cover Distributing Facebook page. You can email it to Chris. You can email it to me at info@cdwood.com. We love to see what you guys paint.
We do. It's so much fun to see your creativity. Okay,
I'm going to
anything
flip
else?
the camera back to you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Go in there, subscribe, hit like. That helps us out, and that way you won't miss out on upcoming videos. Anything?
Ooh, that new interchangeable. I've got a graphic.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Shamrock Wishes. It's the latest. This was the one last week that I was telling you it was my favorite, but I love St. Patrick's Day. So this one is now available on our website. The stencil, the Shamrock Wishes stencil at the bottom is optional. So the lettering is in the pattern, but we do have that stencil available for $4.99 if you do want it. So look in the new product section for that. This is the 9th, maybe, question mark, interchangeable design.
Yes, 9th.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
and she's got more coming.
I do.
Yeah.
Easter's on the horizon, so I've got a cute little design for Easter. So that will be next.
All right.
Let me know on these. We do lives every Tuesday. So if there's something that you're interested in or a technique that you would like me to clarify or talk about, just send us a note, put it in the chat. Love to hear from you.
Shoot me an email. I sit right next to Chris. I will tell her, turn around and tell her.
Yep. Yeah.
So.
She tells me everything.
So.
Okay. Well, thank you again for joining us. I look forward to our next adventure together. And remember, a little bit of paint makes a big difference. Bye-bye.